Mic check. Mic check. Let's go. All right. Right, let's go, Cowboy Nation. One way or another, I'm your brother from another mother. Don't look like Danny Glover. Law Nation. Let's go. Turn me up. All right. Where my chat box at? Here we go. All right. Really appreciate everybody. Shout out to you all that's live with me. One way or another. Tell your mother, right? I got this guy that got me up all night, right? All right, so it's late night, and shout out to everybody that's here. Shout out to Jonathan. I see you over here. Lee Ron, appreciate you. And Thomas, really appreciate you for jumping in. Jesse says, love the music. Hey, I really love the fact that you guys are here. A lot of things on my mind, a lot of things that's going on with this team. Waiting for the last minute, as you can see as the titling says, waiting for the last minute. Sometimes good things happen to those who wait, right? I know you guys heard of that storyline before. Good things happen to those who wait. Now, my thing is, when we look at this particular team, it is the philosophy of Jerry Wine Jones and also his son, John Stephen Jones. They love to wait till the last minute. Now, that's their philosophy. Now, whether it work or not, it's one of those things where we will have to identify with it and say to ourselves and contextualize it and say, all right, cool. That's how they run their particular business. Now, none of us can complain about it completely because at the end of the day, it's their business. I don't think none of us make the remuneration, the money, the pockets, the coins, the bag, the paper, however you want to call it, writing out the checks that like they do, right? But we can look at it and say, man, it's crass in a sense because even though you're saying that deadline makes deals, man, it's been 25 years, man, going on 26, depending on where you look at it. And we collectively is getting tired of it, right? But at the same time, it's like getting mad at the moon. We can't do nothing about it. Now, you could try to say, okay, all right, the moon is what, 216,000 miles or something like that away from the earth. Maybe, just maybe I can start saving back some money and trying to calculate a trip to get there. And then when you get there, you realize you can't do nothing about it still, right? So that is what we are up against, Cowboy Nation. That is the real deal, Holyfield. I hope that we can change some things around, but unfortunately, we're not. We're not able to change none of this stuff around. So we got to still sit in the mercy seat of the Joneses until they change things around. Now, when I say that, let me do this right quick. Give me a few seconds while I build a plane while it's in the air. I love doing this, building the plane while it's in the air. Just hold tight. We got all night. Hold tight. We got all night. How does the song go? All night long, all night long. Shout out to you, Scotty. Shout out to you, Sci-Fi. Appreciate you, Drew P. Shout out to you, Aisha A. Really appreciate you, 2 Cent. But you do look like James Harden. That's what he or she says with the 2 cents. Well, I'm 9 years older than James, so therefore, James look like Law. And I'm quite sure that he wish he looked as good as me. Let's be real with it. Come on now. Come on with it. Come on with it, James. Jonathan, appreciate you. Mark Edwards, what's up, Law? Jersey in the house. Big ups. Appreciate you, man. Jersey. We got people all over the globe. I feel positive that I can just pick up and drive any of these states and I go live and I can see somebody with the silver and blue on. That's just what I believe. This is how big this thing is altogether. We're going to listen to 105.3 The Fan. Shout out to my dog, Mike Fisher, Brian Brothers, Jeff Cav. Hey, they all on that thing. And they was talking about a good conversational piece about what they can get out of Dak Prescott, the compensation for the nation. Now, this is just speculative talk. Now, this is just their opinions. And I like to share their opinions and give my feedback on it, if that's okay with you all. Let's see what we have here. Pluto, appreciate you. Jessica, really appreciate you so much. It doesn't matter what time I come on this show, I see the people that's just really rocking with the nation, flowing with the nation, always here with the nation. All right, I got it here. Appreciate you guys. Let me go and click this button to do that button. So give me 1 second. Bam, got that out the way. And we're going to play this. Now, for objectives, because I love objectivity, it may rub some people the wrong way, right? Because I know that when we talk topics about Rain Dakota Prescott, it just get on people's nerves in a certain way. But they are looking at it from the aspect of, okay, all right, if, and I'm using if, and I know if was a fifth, we all be drunk. Just make sure mine is the hen. But if was a fifth, we all will be drunk. But they are only speaking under the I guess, the mindset, if Dak Prescott do not come up with the deal, what will they do in this situation? I said this will be the craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation. Crazy. How that song says, boy, she's crazy, crazier than me. But this thing is crazy because at the end of the day, we can't talk about free agency. We can't look at the free agent pool because they got to get this deal done. But let's listen to Brian Brothers.
Yeah.
I reached out to some guys about that.
Nice.
Well, I just wanted,
Let me rewind all the way.
Hey, you guys asked me yesterday what you would get in compensation for Dak.
Let me know if y'all can.
Yeah.
I reached out to some guys about that.
Nice.
Well, I just wanted, they some guys answered back. I did it kind of late today, so I should have.
Okay.
But just the early statements from these guys.
Okay.
Everybody thinks you could get 2 ones out of this one for
Two
sure.
ones.
But one guy thinks that you might have to look at the deal where what Indianapolis did, where you take like a 2 now and with it being a 1 if you get to a certain level. He says some teams are thinking about what Indianapolis did as a kind of a way to go, because they're all saying that you have to give them a top level contract and compensation to make this deal happen. So that's, everybody's thinking that, okay, well, you give them a 2, you're having to pay you're having to pay the whole contract. And then if he plays, which he probably will, you have success with him, which you probably will, then that's how you get your 1. But
all right, so what Brian Brothers is saying, by Dak Prescott not being under a contract, you can't trade said player. Said player got to be under a contract. So in order for this to happen, Dak Prescott in return have to sign one of the tags, whether it be non-exclusive, of course, or exclusive. 9 times out of 10, they talking about an exclusive tag, whereas they control the point. Whereas the Cowboys, the organization, the Dallas Cowboys, Wine Jones and John Stephen Jones, they control the point, meaning that they would say, okay, now we will shop. But these are the contingents, or these are the constraints, and that is what they're saying. and maybe, just maybe, the ideology on how the Indianapolis Colts did it with the second round, because they're not saying that the Colts would do it, but hear me out. What they're saying is that you take that second round pick and you put some contingents on it, meaning that if said player play 6 games and this amount of money or this amount of, I guess, stats or these amount of wins, then that second, I guess, transform into a first, and then it'd be another additional first. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about, a land of speculative. But let's go into more
But the
detail.
majority of the gang of 7, they said you could get 2 1s, and that's where. And I actually had one guy tell me, he says, "Listen, if you get 2 1s, you might want to do that one." So,
Oh, what a hater!
So do you go to Dak and say, hey, let's get something done, but if not, let's get you traded somewhere you want to go?
Yeah, I think,
because you don't
yeah.
want to let him walk after this
No,
year.
I absolutely. I think that's where we're at right now with this whole thing. And I want to believe that, Todd Archer's starting to report that there's conversations between the two. Let's see if they're meaningful conversations. And, I've always believed that if they could sit down, or however they're going to do this, with the pandemic, heck, you can sit across the desk from somebody and talk about things or make calls or whatever you have to do. I just felt like that they could. Let's see how motivated Todd France is. That's the thing. And now, but if I'm the Cowboys and you talk about putting
Appreciate you, Justin. Really appreciate you, man, for making that donation to help elevate the nation. When you do that, put some of this on there. There we go. Appreciate you, Justin. Had to do that. You're responsible for
Steelers
this
out there
show right now.
Okay, well, hey, what would you guys give for Dak? Well, we'd go the Indy route. Okay, thanks very much, man. Have a good week. Okay, call another guy. Well,
That's disrespectful.
Well, that's how these operate, and like I say, you hope that somebody on another end doesn't leak what you're doing making these calls, because that.
Let me tell you something, Brian Broaders, and let me tell everybody that's out here. Oh, if the Cowboys even decided to fake attempt it, it's going to be leaked. It's going to be leaked. It's going to be leaked. It's just how the Dallas Cowboys, like the moment, even if it's a thought, it don't even have to be real. It can be just a thought. It's leaked. Jerry Wine Jones thought about trading Dak Prescott. It'll be a thought, and they will be able to say, hey, John Stephen Jones, they thought about trading Dak. It'll be all over ESPN, MySpace. They'll bring it back. Black Planet, and as well as all of the other stuff that used to be out there. Justin, drop it back. Man, appreciate you. Justin, not Bieber. Justin Blacker. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for help elevating the nation. Really do appreciate you. But let's listen to more what they have to say. Oh, if Cow Turd, Drew, I see you. Oh, my goodness. Colin Cow Turd. Oh, my God.
That happens in our business now. It happens. So,
right.
Anyway, but if the Cowboys want to move on from this, there could very well be some teams that are very interested in doing that.
I hope they're aggressive about that. I hope they're aggressively pursuing that possibility if they can't get a deal done. I think as an organization, they have to pick a day on the calendar. And maybe it's before the draft, maybe it's after the draft, but before July 15th when the tag locks in for the year. Mm-hmm. But find a day and say, if we make it to here, dang it, we have to work with Dak and his agent and other teams to try to create a trade. And if going public with it is necessary, then so be it. But we can't let 2021 play out and have Dak just walk. That's too good of an asset.
Jeff, let me ask you a question. Would you wait till April 1st, and that way that you would have teams would have been able to evaluate all their quarterbacks on the board and got through all that list, and then, because maybe if they don't know all the quarterbacks yet, maybe they would not want to do anything with you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would be waiting until look, I hope they get a deal done in the next week, but I don't think you have a real life deadline until draft time. But if you can't get something done by draft time, you got to tell Todd France and Dak, like, hey, we can't risk the fact that you're apparently wanting to leave us, so we're picking a guy. What do you want? Do you want to go somewhere?
Yeah.
Do you want to play in front of our rookie for a year? because you're announcing to us you're not going to be here. I think that's how you got to negotiate, as on the Jones side of it.
Right.
You know, the craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation, it just hit me just like a few minutes ago. It hit me. Dak Prescott, mentality, his mind, the way he operates, the way he moves, the way he even talk, the way his leadership ability is, does not matches Todd France. It seems like, how in the hell did he get Todd France as his agent? It's just like, come on, why he couldn't get any other agent? At the same time, I'm just looking at it like, I'm so tired of this. I got to look at Todd France. And he may have the best interest at heart for Dak Prescott, but a small part of my heart just wish that Todd France never exists. Because when I look at it, when I just try to just really just pay attention to all that's going on, and of course, the Joneses, I'm not letting them off the hook. They just as bad at this as well, but you got two alpha males going at it, Todd France, thinking that his stuff smell like roses, right? And then Jerry Wine and his Johnny Walker Blue and John Stephen Jones, they just as stubborn. I just feel, I'm going to just read some of y'all comments to see if you guys feeling the same way. Lola Cowboy, yeah, law is speaking facts. Boxer, I see you, man. Appreciate you, Johnny. As long as your name ain't Johnny Walker Blue, But I just feel, it just could be me just feeling that way. And it could be that Dak Prescott got like, one of those, what do you call those, bipolar, not bipolar, but when you call that stuff, it's like a Gemini when you have two sides, the yin and the yang. But I just don't see Dak Prescott being this astute to this type of situation. It's just like, man, come on. It's just like, it just don't seem like you would hear, like, unless this brother, if Dak Prescott really is like that behind closed doors, after his career from whatever team he's on, he should play poker. He should flat out play poker. Eric says, sure, Todd France carry himself in functions like the NFL version of MLB Scott Boras. He will not allow GM Jerry to ego himself to death. He on any level. Yeah. So, yeah, you right on the money, Eric. Ryan, what's good, man? It was good. He's like Jerry Maguire versus a cocky old billionaire. Yeah.
And on the Dak side of it, you're like, yeah, well, blow my doors off because free agency I'm staring down the barrel of it.
Yeah, sure is. So he's got a lot of leverage. He's absolutely
right. Earlier today, Brian Broaddus talked about his gang of 7 suggesting that, hey, you can get 2 first-round picks for Dak, correct?
Yes, sir.
If that's all I can get for Dak, then I'm really signing him here in the next 2 weeks because that's not good enough for me.
Facts. There you go.
I would need much, much more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you'd use that as the impetus for, maybe caving a little bit and doing what it takes to get the deal done. I was looking at it like you got to trade him. If you're not going to be able to get a deal done, I think 2 1s would be much better than just letting him walk after the next season.
Now, two 1s better than letting him walk. Yes, but I think that just looking back at the Dallas Cowboys, 2 first-round draft picks. Well, let's be real with it. Let's be real with it. We can look at it and be like, all right, cool. 2 first rounds for the Dallas Cowboys, knowing that the Jerry Jones and the John Stephen Jones, that could be Taco and that could be LVE, Taco and LVE. I think that Dak Prescott is worth more than Tacos and the LVEs, So, I'm not saying that LVE is a bust, but I'm just kind of like weary of the Dallas Cowboys, even with the first round draft picks. I just don't want them to just get rid of Dak Prescott for a Taco and an LVE. Let me know if I'm making any sense out of this, man. I want more. I would rather say no. Give me more than that. And I would produce like, this is the situation. Dak is so valuable, but the Joneses can't sign. It is kind art. Okay, I feel you. Miss Scott and Pro, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping in. Jerry Jones need to shut up. Need need to pay Dak or shut up. Yeah. But what you said, Miss Scott and Pro, boost the likes for the late night stream. Appreciate you, Miss Scott and Pro. Yeah. LVE is Sean Lee, and I'm not trying to throw LVE under the bus or in front of the bus. Method guy, wonderful guy, brilliant guy. It's just that right now, his pick is like, it is what it is. Akeem, my brother, he says, Law, I'm so tired of this Dak situation. It seems like it's a marathon. We've been talking about Dak Prescott literally since 2017. He was the darling. He was the knight in shining armor, if you can say that, in 2016. Did no wrong. Did no harm. And then 2017, the NFL, and I'm just going to be transparent with you guys, everybody pretty much, thank you, Gonzalez, appreciate you. Thank you so much. He says, peace, appreciate you. I don't know if the AI is going to speak, but whenever she does, we will listen to her. But my thing is,
keep it real, Law. Peace, victory hand.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so my thing is, in 2017, it seemed like, and I think, to me personally, the way 2016 ended, hear me out. The way 2016 ended was this right here. A lot of people just had left a bad taste in their mouth, right? Because for one, it was Green Bay Packers. For two, they said, man, you had a healthy quarterback who was here for like 14 years sitting on the bench. Come on, man. And then for three, let's be real, they was looking at it like the 31 to whatever the Packers jumped out on the lead with us, and how the media kind of just kept saying the accident waiting to happen, and all of their followers and all of their fan base, and we had to wait to say, okay, wait till next year. And then, bam, the off-season crap hit. The on the field, off the field. The charges with Ezekiel Elliott. And it just been negative from there. And a lot of people were like, hey, Dak Prescott is good, but can he do it without this? Can he do it without that? I'm sitting there like, hey, wait a minute. Of course he can. That's like expecting Peyton Manning to do it without Edgerrin James, do it without Marshall Faulk, do it without Marvin Harrison, do it without Reggie Wayne. And I'm not calling Dak Prescott that guy, but what I'm saying is just using common sense. But a lot of that stuff been swept under the rug since 2016. Vaughn from Shreveport, shout out to you, man. Hey, bro, Law, haven't been through it in a while, but be cool, bro. Appreciate you, bro. And yeah, Ryan is speaking. Look, I wish I could just put it all on the screen right now. Ryan is speaking nothing but the God honest truth. He is. Ryan, I really appreciate you on the Facebook. Here we go.
Hey, bro, Law. Haven't been through in a while. Peace sign. Be cool, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you so much. Vaughn from Shreveport. So my thing is, they've been chasing 2016 from that time frame. And the craziest thing that I get from a lot of people will be, all right, so earlier today, I'll just read comments because I love to read. And it was a lot of people saying, well, you want to pay Dak Prescott $40 million and he haven't won a Super Bowl. He's not a Pat Mahomes, nor is he a Tom Brady, or even if he want to get $40 million, he's not even a Troy Aikman. And I sit there and thought, and I said, man, I wish I was able to see a Tom Brady coached by Jason Garrett, right? I wish I was able to see Pat Mahomes coached by Jason Garrett. And I'm not trying to throw Jason Garrett in front of the bus or under the bus, but I'm just saying he's Jason Garrett. And the little spell that we seen from Mike McCarthy, from everybody from A to Z who talk about Mike McCarthy, will say the same, that like, hey, this is not a coach that's going to be able to just make that extra move for you, right? Now, he may be a quarterback whisperer. He can help you out in those categories. And truth be told, if was a fifth, of course, we all be drunk. But truth be told, if Dak Prescott was healthy all last year, the quarterback whisperer might have had Dak Prescott collectively the best year ever, right? Because of the stats, that's where he was heading to. But it is what it is. Let me see some more of y'all comments, man. I really appreciate you guys. How is garbage time? Leron Evans says, how is it garbage time if the defense giving up score on every drive? And that's another thing. Garbage time stats, the dinking and dunking, it just seemed like it only happens to the Dallas Cowboys, the dink and dunk. And then they moved that goalpost, and then we had people to pull up factual evidence to say that, hey, his average is amongst the top in the NFL far as yards per average. It's top, in the NFL. And then we kind of destroyed that myth, right? And then the next one was, the first one was Dak Prescott can't throw over 200 yards or something like that, 300 yards. He can't throw 200 to 300 yards. And I give you that. In 2017, let's be real with it, right? Who was our wide receiver? We had Terrence Williams, a Dez Bryant who can't even find his way on the team right now, right? And we love the passion that Dez Bryant brought to the team, but we had a vertical threat offense, which was vanilla. Everybody, mama, uncle, cousin knew which play you was going to run. And you had Cole Beasley, that all you had to do is bracket coverage Cole, and you had two route concept that Dez Bryant was able to do. The best move for the Dallas Cowboys in 2017, he wore 2 and a 1 on his jersey. Ezekiel Elliott. He was the best guy on the team in 2017. Behind that offensive line. That's why they finished 9-7, but it was on the field, off the field. Garbage time stats law. This is from Drew. The Dallas Cowboys, the only team in the National Football League that got recorded garbage time stats. But the craziest thing of it all, this is the craziest thing of it all, and I challenge anybody. I'll put wagers up. I will put up $1,000 if somebody can show me and prove to me why in the hell that garbage time stats for Dak Prescott was available, but garbage time stats were not available for Andy Dalton. Because all I'm hearing is that any quarterback can do that. Well, I'm wagering $1,000 to somebody to prove that garbage time stats only. You know what I'm saying? It just goes away when Andy Dalton is existing, right? But Dak Prescott, garbage time stat. So why didn't Andy Dalton throw for 400 yards a game? What happened to the garbage time stats? Can anybody out debate me on that? Come on, I'm willing to give you $1,000 if you can prove that garbage time stats. You know what I'm saying? Why all of a sudden that is only applicable to Dak Prescott and no other quarterback in the National Football League? No online for Andy. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Look, I'm reading the stats. Cam Newton is better for your team. This is from John L. Law. Andy stats was always garbage, though. Akeem, I agree. But Andy, he was throwing it to the cameraman. He was throwing it to the lady that was the first-time official on the sideline. He was just throwing it to everybody but those wide receivers. Same set of wide receivers, same set of circumstances with the offensive line being hurt and injured. But we didn't see the 40 points a game. We didn't see the 35. We didn't see the 400 yards pen thrown. We didn't see those touchdowns. Why? What happened to the garbage time? I digress. But it's only when Dak Prescott is there, right?
Season.
Yep.
Definitely. If you can't get a deal done, and now we're sitting here on March 8th, you do, because then the draft's coming around. So it's a doomsday scenario where you go, okay, it's like in the NBA when a guy's in his last year of his contract, General. Well, he's going to leave. Victor Oladipo in Houston. He's going to leave us after this year. We might as well trade him now.
Yeah.
The urgency for the Cowboys to do a contract, they are literally on the clock. But Brian, my point with Brian Broaddus' two firsts is, Peter King just got done telling me that Deshaun Watson is basically worth 4 or 6 valuable pieces. He made a Washington scenario. By the way, Washington has no interest in doing this. Chase Young, another defensive starter, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. So I'm not saying that I get that kind of price tag for Dak, but 2 ones isn't enough. So Gavin, you get what I'm saying.
Wow.
If the Cowboys are listening to Brian Broaddus and saying that's the temperature, well then I don't want just 2 ones for Dak. Therefore, I want to sign him.
Yeah, the problem is, though, you haven't been able to sign him. And likely he is going to play on this tag, and you're going to not get anything for him other than a compensatory 3. So if you don't sign him, you better come up with a plan to get something for him. And whether it's if you want if Dak was signed, I can understand the reason why Watson's haul is so good is because he's signed. That's why.
You get him on the cheap.
You get him on the cheap. You're paying the freight. Not only are you giving 2 ones for Dak, but you're also paying $40-something million a year.
Yeah.
That's good stuff right there, Brian Broaddus, because whoever going to pick that up, they're going to have to pick up that money, that remuneration, because that still remains the same. That bottom line still will remain the same. So I get what he's saying. Now, to look at this thing, the Dallas Cowboys, between this time frame to March 9th, they're going to have to show their hands, because you can't sign Dak Prescott without first, just hear me out, Cowboy Nation, restructuring somebody's contract or cutting a valuable asset. And that will be the first move you will see. So what will happen here, collectively speaking, when we see Todd Archer or Jane Slater or John Machota, or I guess the other guy name is Michael Gelkin, and who's the guy named Moore? There's a Moore guy that's out there. When you see they reporting that Ezekiel Elliott is now restructuring his contract, or when you see, I guess you can say Amari Cooper is restructuring his contract, then you will say, okay, or DeMarcus Lawrence restructuring his contract, then you will say to yourself, all right, cool, Dak Prescott is finna get signed. Because they can't just sign him out of thin air, right? Let's go.
You get Deshaun like 30% under market value.
Exactly. There's a little bit better deal signing or having trading for Watson than it is Dak right
That's
now.
a great point. We've heard Dak say all the right things for 2+ years. We've heard Jerry and Steven come on the fan and say all the right things. Again, I'm willing to play naive Uncle Fish. I believe them. I think they do want to do this. And I think that when Jerry Jones started telling me 31 years ago, Mr. Mack, deadlines make deals, this is what he's talking about. Today is the opening of a deadline. March 9th represents a deadline, and the NFL draft represents a deadline. And not just because what if Dak leaves? There's also this factor. And General, I'll close with this one.
Okay.
You've got to know as soon as possible, or you can't do any other business.
Yeah.
You can't sign other teams' free agents. You can't even sign your own.
My point exactly, Mike Fisher. Y'all check out his YouTube page. Mike Fisher is putting down the points. My point, this is what we've been saying, everybody. You can't move. Look, every year is valuable, and I just want the Joneses to know that. Look, waiting to the last minute will do more harm to this team than any good. Waiting till the last minute would do more detriment. It's like you're riding around in your vehicle and you're sitting there knowing that you got to get this oil change. You say, well, let me go another 3,000 miles. That's good. I put that synthetic cool oil in there. This oil is okay. And then you hear a little knocking in your engine. You say, it's okay. It's okay. My car can still move, but it's doing a Harlem shake. It's missing. But you're saying it's okay. I don't need to get the maintenance change. You see the maintenance light on, the check engine light soon is on and everything. And you're sitting there saying, it's okay. I'm still operating. I'm still moving. I'm going to point A. I'm going to point B. But the warning signs are already there. And I know that you want to put back and say, well, if I pay this maintenance agreement or if I put more money into this car, then I will not be able to pay my light bill at the house or pay my water bill at the house or buy this new, bench for the front door, whatever, reef, whatever you want to buy. You got to take care of business. And the Joneses is looking back saying, nobody can tell me nothing. I'm a billionaire, right? We made our coins drilling oil, gambling, risking it all. But sometimes you got to change your ways. It's been 25 years or 26 years, give or take, however you want to look at it. And they're continuing. Y'all help me out. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What is that definition?
Free agents until you do something with Dak. Now, you can make room long-term contract-wise. They could, in a snap, restructure Amari Cooper, and then that would give them the room to create a long-term contract. But it would be more complicated than that to create the room for a tag. You'd have to move this, and move this. If, by the way, we hear, hey, I hear they're thinking of doing a restructure on Amari Cooper, you can start throwing your parade because that means that Dak Prescott's about to sign.
Facts.
Well, I appreciate the insights, Fish. I guess I'm left with more of a positive feeling, even though it's a quarterback crisis that they find themselves in. I think we're pretty close to a resolution here. The tag deadline here in 2 weeks from today. And then do you guys feel like by the time we get to the draft, we'll be knowing one way or another because the Cowboys won't be able to go through that without making a decision?
I do, and the good feeling,
April
for lack of a
29th.
better word, is because Jerry's slogan to me from 31 years ago and since said a million times isn't deadlines mean you pass on deals. It's deadlines make deals. And here we are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, deadline make deals. It's one of those things, Cowboy Nation. It's crazy. We're seeing the same thing over and over again. I'm with the belief that I heard, like from the underground stuff, that they'll get this deal done next week. A deal getting done next week, But what Fisher is saying on that last point is it's harder to sign a person under the franchise tag. Why, Law? Why is it so hard to sign a person under the franchise tag to that amount of money? Well, the reason why it's harder because that money goes against the cap immediately. You cannot prorate it. You can't sign some of it to be a bonus and stretch this thing out. It is $37 to $38 million off the cap, off the jump. But if you sign them to a long-term contract, 6 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever the years, 7 years, 8 years. And I know that some people cringe when I said 8 years because they say, oh, no, I can't see number 4 for 8 more years. I feel you. But if you sign them for a longer-term contract, then you can prorate and you can squeeze signing bonus, stretch this thing out. The other bonus will hit next quarter or next year, whatever you look at it. And now instead of it being $38 million against the cap, it's $20 million against the cap, or 15, or whatever the percentage is of the max life of the contract. And I believe there's a certain number that you got to hit, and that's how you can squeeze in more and more free agent picks. Maybe they can work out a combo deal. I was jokingly saying this, but Todd France is also the agent of Justin Simmons. Maybe they can sit down and have the meetings of the minds if the Denver Broncos do not re-sign Justin Simmons or put a franchise tag on him and allow this brother to test the market. Maybe, just maybe, they can have a combination deal. Now, that's just me just wishful thinking, right? We can all have wishes and hopes. But that would be great of Todd France. And then maybe I'll think differently of Todd, But right now, we looking at this thing and saying to ourselves, come on, Joneses, get this thing done with so that we won't have to go back and forth and talking about this. Gallup was a third rounder from Lee Rod. Appreciate you. Yes. Shout out to you, Stevens. Hope you have a good night. Jim Laws, these idiots with Dak hate is unreal. Yeah, some people, my thing is with Dak Prescott, whether or not, look, was Troy Aikman a perfect quarterback? No. Even Joe Montana, was he a perfect quarterback? No. Is Dak Prescott either of those guys? No. But Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. Some people have too high of an expectation for Dak Prescott, and some people have too low of an expectation of Dak Prescott. But when you look at everything, is Dak Prescott better than what we had out of the Vinny Testaverdes or Chad Hutchinson, whatever that guy's name was, Tony Banks at the time, Ronnie Cunningham when he was on the team, right? Are you willing to go back to searching? Are you guys aware of how we got Tony Romo? It wasn't like the Jones was like, oh, yeah, that's the guy. And one can argue that, hell, that was more of a, what's his name, Sean Payton groove pick, the familiarity with Sean Payton and Tony Romo, right? So, I mean, we could try to peel it back and say, okay, all right. Sometimes I sit back and I wonder, what would this team look like with Paxton Lynch, right? What this team would have looked like with a Johnny Manziel, right? or what this team would have looked like if Tony Romo were somehow not to be able to play at the time and they rushed out Stephen McGee, right? I wonder, that was the conversation during that time frame. Let's put Stephen McGee out there, So I think that a lot of people are, for one, when they don't like Dak Prescott and they say, well, somebody is speaking glowingly of Dak Prescott there on the team, where they only love Dak Prescott opposed to anybody else on the team. No, I think that they are misinformed because my message always been the same. Every player that's on this team outside of LP Laddershore, I think I'm older than every player. I've been liking the Cowboys team before Jerry Jones bought the team, basically, if that makes any sense. Quincy Sands, appreciate you. A lot of people forgot, and I think that you saying Mahomes or Muhammad. Had 4 years and 6 years opt out after 10 years of contract. The Jones can do, like you said, 8 years with 5 years opt out. Right, let the AI
While
speak.
people forget Muhammad has a 4-year and 6-year opt out in that 10-year contract. The Jones can do, like you said, 8 years with a 5-year opt out.
Yeah, facts. The longer the contract is, the more room that you can probe at it and pick at it. I think the first issue, the 5 versus the 4, Dak Prescott camp was looking for a 4-year, and one can argue that maybe there was more on Todd saying, hey, this is where the market is going to be at with the new TV deal. You need to get in that 4 range opposed to the 5, and it's not about the money. But when you do the math, it's about the money. You can't say, well, 4 versus 5. It's about the money, right? Let's be real with it. Let's just move all of the BS aside. It's about the money. It's about the flat out money. And if it wasn't about the money, then you assign the guy to a 2-year, 3-year deal, right? You wouldn't be going back and forward over 5 versus 4 or 4 versus 5, right? And my thing is, when we look at what the Cowboys are saying now, is the conversational piece from what James Slater said is not that much animosity. It seems like they're communicating easy with each other, Todd France camp, as well as with the Joneses administration. So we'll find out sometimes next week if we start hearing the restructuring if we start hearing some movements around with his team, we'll know that they're about to sign Dak Prescott. John L. said they didn't want deal to work, right? They didn't want the deal to work. Yeah, and we'll find out, too. We'll find out about everything at the end of the day. We just want to see this team host a Lombardi trophy. We want to see them lift that trophy up. We want to see them win the Super Bowl and things like that. But before Dak Prescott decided to put on a uniform, we've been having these same issues. That's all I'm saying. Before Dak Prescott decided to even be born, basically. He was born in the 90s. We've been having these issues on the latter part of this run. So we could point the fingers, throw rocks, and hide, but Jerry Wayne Jones and John Stephen Jones, they're going to have to figure this thing out. And the whooping board is going to fall on the head coach, Mike McCarthy, and Dan Quinn. And just right, Thad Domino. Appreciate you for subscribing or liking. So my thing is, Cowboy Nation, they're going to have to figure this thing out. If we lose Dak, Stephen Jones needs to step down from his position. This is from Leroy. Appreciate you. Jessica says, shout out to Uncle Charles. Appreciate you, Uncle Charles. Thank you for jumping in. Let's see. I'm going to read some of y'all comments here. His ankle is already healed. OMG. This information is hilarious. This is from Jim Laws. Yeah. I mean, the guy, like, for everybody that's sitting out there saying that the guy ankle is destroyed, there's numerous of pictures of him walking around. CeeDee Lamb even said himself that he's walking around in his house. They even throwing balls out there with each other. And he was on the beach. He proposed to his fiance. There's pictures of him sliding down a slide in the pool. I mean, if you got a bum ankle, you ain't finna do all of that. The worst thing you gonna do is put any pressure on it and move around on it, right? If you got a bum ankle, you is not finna do. You ain't finna go. You gonna be like, man, I ain't finna slide down no slide, fam. You know, you can't get a brother with a bum ankle to jump off of a porch. You know, he ain't finna do none of that, especially in this climate. You know, that's one thing. One thing I can tell you about brothers, the ankles are important, especially even if you try to play pickup basketball. You be like, man, I'm going to strap them ankles, fam. I ain't finna get my ankles taken, you know. And as much as we laugh about, you know, what is that guy, Ronald Darby? Y'all remember him? When, what's his name, Amari Cooper cut that brother up like a Ginzu blade. We saw him out there the following year, right? Boy, those ankles, baby. Slide into the hot tub, yeah. Dak Prescott out the dark, right? It's a broken ankle, and it's not the end of the world. Spence Jimmy, yeah, it's a broken ankle. It was no ligaments damage. The actual surgery was a cleanup surgery to remove scar tissues. Believe it or not, if I was more prepared for this episode, I would show you guys right now a clip of Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper can't even jog right now. He just had some surgery done to his, he had some scope work done, so he can barely move. Matter of fact, Amari Cooper is moving slower than Dak Prescott is right now. That's how crazy this thing is. Leron said he tore his ACL in that game. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, if you had a choice, ACL or an ankle being broken smoothly, you'd be like, man, give me that ankle. You don't want to mess with that ACL, fam. Yeah. Yeah, Trey Coop, XOTY, nah. Look, let me see how much more time I got. What time it is? It's 11:49. I got enough time. Two players that I want people to stop saying trade. One being Amari Cooper. The other being Ezekiel Elliott. Those two, believe it or not, when you go back and watch 2020's tape, 2019 tape, they dictate what the defense do. Whether or not, I know a lot of people will say, well, this guy only had these amount of yards against, I guess, an excellent cornerback. But they dictate, for one, how the alignment and assignment will be, the rolling of the coverage. Appreciate you, Stelios. He ain't lying. Right. They dictate the rolling of the coverage. So this moment right now is brought to you by Stelios 300 Cowboys. When you have single high safety, I want you guys to look at all of the clips. If you have the all 22, you have the single high safety look. I tell you what, you look at that top safety, the free, y'all let me know which side he's going to be cheating on. You got
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying, right, Quincy? They going to cheat on a Coop side. Why? Because Coop is more of the threat.
Cap
Appreciate
space they passed. Low money, let's talk crazy.
Yeah, appreciate you, Quincy. Quincy, appreciate you. So they dictate that. Team's going to cheat roll coverage, Amari Cooper's side. And they bracket cover whoever's the underneath guy who's going to be the immediate slot guy. They bracket cover him. And they one-on-one it with Michael Gallup. They say, okay, we can disrupt him a little bit, and he be one-on-one. If he win it, then damn it, he win it. But we going to make sure that we have a guy that's always going to remain over the top.
Ain't lying.
There you go. Stelios. He sure ain't lying. Appreciate you, Stelios. So that is what they do from the Amari Cooper side. Now, when you look at Ezekiel Elliott, every team we played against, the number one goal is we stop the run, we force the quarterback to beat us. We're going to stop the run, we force the quarterback to beat us. So if it's 8 and 9 man fronts, that's what we're going to exhibit, and that's what we're going to exude. And on top of that, we're going to bring that extra linebacker inside. That's what they do. That's how they stop the Dallas Cowboys. They said we're going to shut down the run. Ezekiel, if he don't see the hole, hit the hole immediately, we're going to have somebody else chasing, punching the ball out. Oh, he's a fumbler. Let's try to knock the ball out. Let's throw off his rhythm. Let's try to stop the run. Roll coverage, Amari Cooper way. Oh, the little rookie, CeeDee Lamb, okay, we'll live with him beating us. He was open multitudes of times. He was open many of times. But the said quarterback that's supposed to know how to throw in garbage time, Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, as well as Gibbard, didn't know how to connect. Oh, my goodness. But when you look at Gallup, one-on-one coverage, sometimes they'll have a safety on his side. But 9 times out of 10, he would be the one-on-one coverage guy. That's how the teams, they said, okay, we'll line them up, lace them up, we'll stop the run. Let's see. Keith M, appreciate you. Brian Brothers flexed on Fish. Omar. Yeah, leave Fish alone. Brian Brothers be on it, though. He knows it in and out. Jeff Okuda would not play in Dallas, laugh out loud. I can promise you that is from Miss Scouting Pro. Yeah, Jeff Okuda, yeah, I thought he's in Detroit, right? He's okay. He's okay. They look better in those brown bags. Jim Law, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Jessica. Yeah, appreciate you. Let's see. Appreciate you. I can't even say your name. Is it Barbosa? Appreciate you for jumping in. All right, so it's getting close to that time. I really appreciate everybody who watched this particular episode. I know it's kind of later than most, but when you can find time, you use time, right? And there's no time like the presence, right? And not just of the mind, but of the hearts and love and sinew and all of these things that we put together, Cowboy Nation. I just want you guys to continue to support this team, continue to fight for this team. And even though, it may be a player so that you don't like, but at the end of the day, don't let that change your love for this team, right? Don't let that change your mind. Look, like I said, piece of you guys, or many of you guys, were fans of this team before Jerry Jones bought the team, right? So do not allow Jerry to change your mind about the team that you love, right? And majority of you guys were fans of the team before Dak Prescott joined his team. But instead of always looking for the faults in the man, try to look at, okay, he improved from year to year. He got better. He learned to anticipate his throws better. Step up inside the pocket, right? Oh, he learned how to beat the man-to-man coverage on the outside. Now, was it one of those things that a lot of people look at it and say, man, he's supposed to do it in 2017? Well, newsflash, he was not supposed to start until probably the year 2019. That's basically was supposed to be in his first coming out party. But circumstances made it available so he can start earlier. And he took advantages of those circumstances. I know that a lot of people will go to their grave saying that, hey, Tony Romo should be out there. But Tony Romo is living the good life. He listened to his beautiful wife, Candace Romo, and she said, well, baby, I want you to be able to hold Hawk Romo, to hold, I believe he named one of his sons Jones Romo, the old Jones Romo and River Romo. You know, hold your kids, walk around. We can do these Skechers commercials, you know. He's making hand over fist, calling the game, right? And if anything, if Tony Romo want to come back, I would want Romo to come back to be a defensive coordinator because he would know what the offense is trying to do before they even hit snap, right? But that's water on the bridge. It's a whole new era, right? It's one of those things where as Cowboy Nation, we got to look at this thing and just say, okay, all right, what are the positives about it? Ezekiel, regardless of whether or not we like it or not, he's here to the year 2026. That's his contract. Now, of course, an avoidable years are the end of his contract, but that's his contract. So the Cowboys, they decided to do that. The cornerstone of the defense, Jerry came out and said, is Jalen Smith. So what y'all want to do? Y'all want to get mad and be like, oh, I can't stand the Cowboys no more, and I quit supporting this team because Jalen Smith, he's the cornerstone of the defense, and Ezekiel Elliott is here to 2026, and they talking about giving Dak Prescott $40 million, right? What you want to do, run? What happened to all the real OGs out here, right? What happened to thicken it through it, you know? What happened to your passion, right? Shout out to you, Uncle Charles. Dak stepped up and took the mental and get over it. Yeah, he stepped up and he did his job. According to people that we talked to that was actually on the team at the time, we had on our show Barry Church. We had on our show, I believe his name was Philip Tanner, Ward 34. All of those guys, they said, man, Dak Prescott, he took over the team. He is the team leader. He was able to identify with the people from the water boy, the water girl, the guy that served the towels, the practice squad guys, all the way up to the superstars, the Dez Bryants, even the Jason Wittens. Jason Witten was even like, man, this dude right here, as much as I love Tony Romo, he never threw me a touchdown pass in the playoff. Let me know if I'm lying, right? You know, so even Jason Witten was like, hey, this is Dak team now, you know. Tony Romo was at the end of his career, he was only hanging out with the coach, Jason Witten, and who else was at those games? He'll go to Duke University. They were flying him over here to the basketball games, you know, at Dallas Mavericks. It is what it is, Cowboy Nation. All right, that's all the time that I have for this moment. It's about to be the top of the hour. I just want you guys to write this down. When the end comes for me, let it find me conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Write that down. Write that one down. Now, write that one down. And we're going to get on out of here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's come together, Cowboy Nation. Let's survive this thing. One way or another, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, You're listening to nothing but the best. Come on. I know y'all can jam. Rock out with me. Hey. Shout out time. I like to do shots out at the end. Jim Laws, appreciate you. Lola. McDuffie, I see you. Come on. Pink Floyd. Let's go. Travis, shout out to you. Salzar, appreciate you. William, 2 Cent. Lou Laws in the house, baby. Miss Scouting Pro. Let's go. I even saw Trump up in here, man. Omar, Quincy, Kennard. Appreciate everybody who made the donations, too. Y'all know how this thing go, one way or another. Let's go. Hey. Uncle Charles, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you so much. Appreciate you. Baby Rhino, appreciate you for jumping in. Cry, Eagles, cry. Cisco, just don't release the dragon, Cisco. Jay, I see you, fam, with all the fire. Keep your head up, Cowboy Nation. Keep your head up. Let's go. JT4. Stay at home, ladies. Ride a cowboy. Appreciate you. Let's go. Y'all listen. Obey, stay at home. Rue Glock. Y'all listen to Rue. Holding it down, baby. Let's go, Rue. Y'all please get that thing up to 100 likes. Y'all share on the Facebook, Rue. Sharing is caring. Got one more track after this. Y'all know how this thing goes, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. One more track after this and we out. We out. Let's go. Tell him, Nick.
Nowadays, nothing really is ice. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blinging, she ice. Freeze, photo, please, no photos. No.
Sharing is caring. Share this thing away, baby.
Whole team here might need some. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up a way till I producer saw the numbers one. Different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up, talk of the town where you're talking.
Turn me up, baby.
Get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets dull. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause the hate and the jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really is ice. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she freeze, photo, please, no photos, no, G's, no, please, no photos.
Yo, if you ain't getting the notifications, all you gotta do is subscribe, hit that bell, and then hit on all. Bell got certain selections to it. Hit on all. Yeah. Jim Laws.
In my own lane, finger roll. I would never sell my only soul.
Come on.
Heard your whole team was for sale. Heard this on the market for the low. Who the realest, we might never know. All this acting, you go play a role.
Law the realest, baby. From the South.
Now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food.
Let's go, Cowboy Nation.
Surprised, but you was food. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites
Hey.
me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's icy. I got wifey on bling and she freeze.
Tell 'em freeze.
Please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. G's, no, please, no photos.
Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Groove on out. Y'all have a good night. And remember, you guys are definitely listening to nothing but the best. Let's go get that Super Bowl. It's right around the corner.